Hey campers, welcome back to Camp for All. My name is Kurt Pedezwa and I'm the camp director here at camp, and today I'm going to teach you a couple of magic tricks. Thought that might be fun. In addition to teaching you some magic tricks, I'm going to introduce you to my friend who's a professional magician, and he's going to perform a couple of tricks for us as well. Does that sound like fun? Let's get started. And we're going to start with a magic trick that I'm going to show you, and then I might teach you how to do this one later. So what I'm going to need you to do is to get a pen and paper, and then also if you want to, go ahead and get a calculator to help yourself out with this trick. Go ahead and get a pen and paper, and you can pause the video while you go get that. All right, so I hope everybody has a pen and paper and maybe a calculator. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 100. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Write it down, circle that number, all right? And then we're going to start to do some math over here. So it's written down on one side. You can write it down again and start to do some math, because what I would like you to do with that number that you picked is I want you to add 20 to that number right now. Add 20. You have that? So go ahead and subtract 2 from your number. And then add 10. Everybody with me so far? Let's subtract 3 from your number. And we're going to go ahead and add 6 to the number that you have. Everybody with me so far? All right, well, let's take your number now and subtract your original number from what you have. Does everybody do that? Here's the really cool thing about this. I'm here, you're at home, this is a videotape, and yet all of you still ended up with the number 31. I think that's pretty cool. So I might teach you how to do that later, but let's do a couple of more tricks. And I want to introduce you to my friend Robbie. Robbie Bennett is a former camper here at Camp for All, and also has been a volunteer, and now he is a professional magician who has performed for thousands and thousands of people. During this COVID time frame, he is not able to go out and perform, so he agreed to perform for us. So let's go check out Robbie.
Hey Kurt, thanks for having me. I would love to do some magic for the campers out there. Like you mentioned, I had my first experience at Camp for All when I was 13, around 2001, and I've worked a number of different camps at the site, and it's great to be here virally with you in this sort of computerized version of camp. At the beginning, I realized that it was kind of difficult to have people pick a card through the computer, but that's just what we're going to do. So later on, I need everybody to have 9 playing cards, 9 cards, and I'm actually going to do some magic through your computer screen or your phone. But before we get to that, when I was young and I started doing magic shows, I had to do a lot of birthday parties. And with that, you end up doing a lot of balloon animals. I got really good at doing snakes and swords and sausages. I'm noticing a pattern here. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to be one of those weird sideshow guys, like the guys you saw in vaudeville and travel with the circus, that do the weird things like lay on a bed of nails or catch a cannonball in their stomach. But the ones I always really liked were the sword swallowers. The guys who could take a sword and put it all the way down in their stomach. But growing up as a kid, I was kind of accident prone, and I wasn't allowed to have a sword. Then I grew up, was allowed to make my own decisions, and my wife won't let me own a sword because I'm kind of accident prone. So we're going to use my my safety sword here. See if we can kind of do the same thing. Watch. If you hear a pop later, that's normal. The thing I like about doing that trick is that every time I do it, I lose 3 pounds, which is really cool. So, we're going to do the 9 card trick. Any 9 cards, get them out right now. And I'm going to try to reach through your screen and make the magic happen. Take them, mix them up as much as you want, shuffle them. And then what we're going to do is actually make 3 piles of 3, however you want to do it. Right there. Pick up one of those piles, any one you want, and look at the bottom card. Memorize it. That's going to be your card. The great thing about this is that everyone, even if there's multiple people in the room, are going to do a different trick. Take that pile that's in your hand and put it on either of the other piles. Good. Pick that big pile up and put it on top of the remaining pile. Excellent. Now, what we're going to do and what makes this unique is we're going to use the card that you picked to find it. Everyone's going to do a different trick. So I picked a king. I'm going to spell king. K-I-N-G. And place the rest on top. If you picked a 10, spell 10. 8, 8, and so on. Good. We're going to do the same thing this time. Everybody's going to spell of, because that's the middle word for everyone. O-F. Play that on the top. Now, my suit was the hearts, the king of hearts. So I'm going to spell hearts. H-E-A-R-T-S. And place the rest on top. You had spades, spell spades. Clubs, clubs, diamonds, diamonds. Good. Now this is where we add the magic into the trick. We're going to spell my name, Robbie. R-O-B-B-Y. Hold the Y. Now, you got to shuffle the cards at the very beginning, handled them the entire time, and everybody had a different card that they dealt out, all spelling different words. But at the end, turn it over. Everybody should have found their card.
All right, campers. I'm about to show you a trick, and of course, I need somebody to be able to pick the cards when I say pick a card, right? And so Abby, who you all know well from our virtual activities online, one of our program supervisors, is going to be the person that picks the card. And she'll show you the cards, and she'll do the actions that you would ask somebody else to do when you were doing this trick. So this trick is called the bank robber. And the thing about the bank robber is I'm only going to use part of the deck. And so Abby's going to get to decide how much of the deck that we're going to use. So go ahead and tell me to stop whenever you get to the number of cards that you'd like to use, Abby. So I'm just going to keep going until she tells me to stop.
Stop.
With or without this card?
With.
With. All right. So put this aside, turn these back over, and we're going to build our bank. Okay, so here's the bank, just like that. And there's the bank robber. And then we have some tellers over here, and some tellers over here, and some tellers over here. And we've got management in their offices back here. Here's a big old safe back there. And then we have a security guard, and 2 security guards over there. All right, there's our bank. It's all laid out. Abby's gonna pick up the bank robber. She's not gonna show it to me. I'm gonna back up a little bit. She's definitely gonna show it to you, and she's gonna show it to herself. And then she's gonna put the card back in and mix them all around. So mix them however she wants to mix them. I don't know what the card is. You guys do, Abby does, but we're gonna mess with that bank a little bit here. And then she's gonna mix it however she wants to. If she wants to shuffle, do all of those kinds of things. There we go. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is start to turn these over. So I'm turning them over like this. Oh, look at that, those are some good cards coming out. I'm just gonna keep turning these cards because I'm looking for your bank robber, right? I wanna see when can I find that bank robber. have done this trick wrong a couple of times, but most of the time I get it right. Remember, I'm an amateur magician, right? So, not this one. This is an exciting card. In fact, Abby, I really want you to believe that the next card I turn over is going to be your card. Do you believe that?
No.
You don't think the next card I turn over is going to be your card?
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty
You're
positive.
100% sure
Yeah.
that the next card is not going to be your card?
Yeah.
If I gave you a peek of this card, would that change your mind?
No, it wouldn't.
No, it doesn't?
Yeah, I'm still sure.
So the next card I turn over is going to be your card. I'm just telling you that.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Okay. That was the next card I turned over. And that's called the bank robber. Now, do you want to know how to do the bank robber? Because here's the catch with the bank robber. A couple of things that I will tell you. One of the things that magicians do when they do tricks is they always kind of set the stage. So you may have heard me in the middle of that talking about how I sometimes do this trick wrong. Did you hear me say that? When you say that, you plant that seed of doubt in the person that's watching. They're like, oh, Kurt's an amateur magician. He might do this wrong. He just said he sometimes does it wrong. For the record, I don't ever do this trick wrong. I always know how this trick works. Now, I have done magic tricks where I've done them wrong before. This is not one of them. This is a trick that I learned when I was a kid. And the reason I don't get it wrong is because I know from the very beginning what card the bank robber is. So, here's the secret. Are you ready? I'm going to teach you how to do this trick. Now, this is just me and you, right? You don't go sharing this. You want to use this trick, right? So I'm going to teach you the trick. Here's the catch. Remember I said at the beginning, when I started, I said, it's the bank robber. And that's sometimes where I say, this is the bank robber. I'm going to try it. I haven't done it for a while. Sometimes I do it wrong. I didn't say that to you guys, but sometimes I said it that way. Instead, for you guys, I kind of placed that doubt in the middle, right? So I'm going to say, this is the bank robber, and we only use a portion of the deck. And then I started flipping them over. But I flipped a few before I told Abby to guess. So I said something like, you know, I'm only going to use part of the deck. And now Abby, tell me when to stop, right? Now, I said that on the 5th card, right? So I'm counting the cards as they come up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I say that, I glance at the card, so I know it's the 5 of hearts, and I say, just tell me how much of the deck you want to use. And now she does whatever she wants to use, right? So we'll go through, we'll use this many. But of course, does everybody remember what that 5th card was? It was the 5 of hearts. And when I go, I'm making the bank, I make the 4 corners of the bank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bank robber is the 5 of hearts. So I know from the beginning what the card is. All the rest of it is just show. But don't think just show. Magic is all about the show. It's all about the presentation. So you want to build that up. That's why you're building the tellers, right? You got the safe back here. You've got some security guards and another safe over here, right? And you take it out and she mixes it up. She puts it, the 5 of hearts, right? We put it in there and we mix it up. Sometimes when they give the card back to me, I'll go, I don't want it to be on the bottom. So I always look at what the bottom card is to make sure that that card's not there, and then I'll mix them up a little bit, right? Just mix the cards up, do that kind of stuff. Make sure that that 5 of hearts is not on the bottom. And then, now I'm gonna throw these cards down. I hope I get this right. Is it the next card? I pause, right? Thinking, no. And I wait, I'll see the 5 of hearts. I don't pause at all on the 5 of hearts, and then I go, No, it's not this one. Oh yeah, there we go. I bet you the next card I turn over will be that card. And then of course, that's the card you turn over. That's how you do the bank robber, campers. Hey campers, let's learn another trick. It's a card trick. It's going to be a little bit different than the last one. There are tricks, when you're doing magic tricks, there are tricks that you do that you can just pick up anything. Like you pick up a deck of cards and you do the bank robber. That's one you can do with any deck of cards. You can do that with a deck of cards that's not even complete, right? You can also do the trick that I did at the very beginning, which you still haven't learned yet, but the pick a number trick, right? You can do that anywhere without any equipment, without any setup. I am going to show you a trick that takes a little bit of setup, but I'm going to teach you how to incorporate the setup into part of the trick. So first we're going to do the trick, and then I will teach it to you. So, there's nothing like a good pick a card, any card, right? Pick a card, any card, Abby. All right, so split the deck. You've got the card. I don't know what the card is. She's going to put it on top. I'm going to cover it up. No fingers in the deck, right? So we're going to do that. But we're going to use a little magic, right? So in this trick, I don't know what the card is, and I won't know what the card. You're going to know, you already know what the card is, but you're going to see the card at the end of the trick before I know what the card is. However, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the two black aces, the ace of spades and the ace of clubs, they have some great, amazing magical properties in the deck. And so we need to enlist the help of the black aces. And the way we're going to do that is by saying the magic word and flicking the deck. So I'm going to have Abby say the magic word. You guys all know what the magic word is? Say it for me. Say the magic word. Some of you got it right. Some of you got it right. Some of you said please, which is also a magic word, and I appreciate that, but that wasn't exactly the magic word that I was looking for. So Abby's going to say the magic word and flick the deck.
Abracadabra.
There we go. And that turned the two black aces around. Put them together and turn them around. They're friends. So let's go see if we can find the aces here. Where are they? Oh, hey, there they are. Look at those aces, right? So there are the aces. We're going to pull them out. I still don't know what your card is, but we're going to bury a card from the top and a card from the bottom. And I want to make sure that it's not your card. So there's one right from the top, and I'm pretty sure that that's not your card. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And then I'm going to bury one from the bottom, and I'm pretty sure that's not your card. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So we're going to put an ace on top. We're going to put an ace on bottom, just like this, right? And so then we're going to go just like that. How cool was that, right? Abby, was that your card?
Yes.
Look at that, and there your card is. That's the black aces trick right there. So I love that trick, and a friend of mine taught me that. Now, when I first learned to do that trick, I would hold the deck and slam them down on the table, and the cards would go flying across the table, and then I would pull it up. That's pretty impressive as well. And once I teach you how to do this trick, you can do that to the deck as well. So, a couple of things for the setup, right? So you want to learn that trick? Here's how we learn that trick. First, you have to do the setup. You're going to take the top card off. You're going to take the two black aces. You're going to put them facing up, right? Because we had the black aces facing up when we found them. And then you're going to put the card on top. Now, this is where you need to be careful. When you spread the deck out, you don't want to spread where you can see the ace, right? So I'm going to spread the deck out, and I'm going to say, pick a card, any card. She's going to pick a card, and when she does, I split the deck there. Now, here's what you probably didn't pay attention to. I said, put it back in the deck, right? But what I did was, I split the deck, and when you put it back in the deck, you actually put it on what used to be the top of the deck. And now I put this on top of it. I still don't know what that card is. I really didn't know what the card is. But we're going to look for those black aces. So Abby does a little abracadabra, right?
Abracadabra.
And have fun with that. That's part of the show of a magic trick, right? You got to say abracadabra. And sometimes you say it and somebody might flick the deck and say abracadabra afterwards.
Abracadabra.
Oh, that didn't work. You got to say it at the same time, right? So you have a little bit of fun with it.
Abracadabra.
Boom, there we go. And then we go through the deck and we find the black aces, right? And there they are. So now, when I take the black aces off, put this down, take the black aces off, and put this on top of that deck, right? Now, you remember at the beginning how we did the setup? There was one card on top of the black aces. So that card ends up being now at the bottom with the card that you want underneath it, which is why I bury one from the top, which is not the card, and I bury one from the bottom, which is also not the card, right? However, unless you want to be careful to not show the bottom, what is that card?
That's my card.
That's the card, right? And so we put it there. I don't know what it is. Okay, the 8 of clubs, right? So we put it there. And so then I take the ace underneath it, and I kind of hold right here on the two of them. I put the ace above it, and I just hold the ace. And I get them loose in my hand, and then I go, and there's the card. Now you can practice the catch. The catch looks really cool if you can catch it further. That looks really cool, and then you just come up like this. So there's a couple of ways to do it, but that's how you do the black aces trick. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. let's go see what Robbie has for us.
This is great. I'm supposed to be on tour right now, but I've only been able to tour like the living room to the bedroom. So it's actually nice getting to interact with people virally. There's a story that I actually end most of my shows with that I think is kind of meaningful now, and it's how I want to leave you guys. It's a story about a young boy named Taylor. And Taylor's about 9 or 10, strong, healthy, intelligent, but with one fatal flaw: impatience. See, Taylor could never keep his focus on his chores, schoolwork, or really any task at hand. You guys remember how it was to be that age. But one day, when Taylor was walking home from school, he veered off the path and took a shortcut through the woods. And he fell asleep under an old oak tree. And when he woke up and he looked back down the path, he saw a rundown gypsy wagon. He walked up to the wagon and an old lady gave him a golden thread. She said, "This is the thread of your life. Whenever you find yourself bored or dissatisfied with where you are, you can break off a piece, skip it." Well, it didn't take Taylor long to realize how he could use this to his advantage. One day when he was bored at school, he broke off a piece, and he was at the end of the day with the bell ringing. Now, it wasn't long before Taylor was bored of school altogether, broke off a piece, and he found himself at graduation day. And when Taylor met the girl of his dreams and couldn't wait to get married, broke off a piece of thread, he was at his wedding day. When Taylor couldn't wait for his kids to be born, broke off a piece of thread. And when the kids got sick, and he couldn't wait for them to get better, he broke off a piece of thread. And when his priorities changed altogether and he couldn't wait to get the kids out of the house, broke off a piece of thread. Now, it wasn't long before Taylor found himself at the end of his life with nothing to show for it but broken dreams and wishes. But one night, before going to bed, Taylor closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and made a wish. And when he opened his eyes, he found himself as a young boy underneath an old oak tree with a golden thread he never broke again. Hey guys, thank you very much for having me. Again, my name is Robbie Bennett. If you want to follow me on all social media platforms at Call Me Mr. Bennett. We'll be back on tour hopefully sooner rather than later, so I hope I can see everyone in person. Take care. Have a good time, guys.
Hey campers, I hope that you have enjoyed the magic tricks, both the ones that I taught you as well as the tricks that Robbie performed. I want to give him a big round of applause again, thank him for joining us today, and I'm going to finish with an explanation of that very first trick that I did. Are you ready? So, some of you may have figured it out because normally I don't have people write things down. I normally have them do the math in their head. And so then instead of saying 1 in 100, I'll say 1 in 20 to keep it a little bit lower. But here's the secret to that trick. Now, you remember that I had you add numbers and subtract numbers and add numbers and subtract numbers. Well, at the beginning I had you pick a number, and at the end I had you remove that number, right? So the beginning you picked it, the end you removed it. That means that your number really had no bearing on what you ended up with. Everything that you ended up with was the math that I did in my head. So I believe that I started with add 20, that gives me the number 20. Subtract 2, that gives me the number 18. Add 10, that gives me the number 28. Subtract 3, that gives me the number 25. And then I said add 6, which gives me the number 31. You had a different number until you subtracted your original number, and all you had were the numbers that I shared with you, 31. It doesn't have to end up being 31 every time. You can do it however you want. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a fun party trick, but you got to remember to do that math in your head so you can do it quickly for everybody. Well, there you go. That's one more trick for you to add to your arsenal. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please come back tune in, check out more of our virtual camps. We can't wait to see you back here at Camp for All. Thank you.